welcome back. Today for our Do Now, we are going to think about our favorite assignment and project. All right, so we are at the mid-year checkpoint. So take a moment, think about your favorite assignment or project, and pat yourself on the back because you did all that. Amazing job. And then go ahead and share your GitHub repository of your favorite project or assignment. You can put it in Google Classroom as a comment for this lesson. All right, let's get started. Today, coders will navigate HackerRank and review key HTML and CSS concepts. All right, so our vocabulary for today is HackerRank. Again, congratulations. You have learned so much this year, and you did it remotely, maybe at home, a combination of things, watching these asynchronous videos. Congratulations on making it this far. All right, so take some time to think about what are the topics that you feel most comfortable with so far, and what are the topics you feel like you still struggle with. So what did we learn in HTML? You learned how to use an IDE, you learned HTML syntax, you learned about tags and elements, adding images, adding links, class attributes. You also learned CSS syntax, tag and class selectors, Google Fonts, box model, and Flexbox. If any of these key words, key vocabulary words look unfamiliar to you, I suggest going back into Google Classroom and reviewing some of those lessons. Today, we're going to talk about HackerRank. So what is it? HackerRank is a tool used by tech companies to assess job applicant skills. It gives you a chance to show what you know. It can be used to practice technical skills, and it allows Codenation to measure your technical mastery. So let's say you're interested in an internship, and you apply and you send them your resume, your name, you write a little bit about why you're interested in it. A company might use HackerRank to assess, did you master HTML? Did you master key concepts in CSS? It's a tool to get a snapshot of what your skills are. Okay, so in order to work on today's lesson, you are going to log into HackerRank. So go to the HackerRank challenge URL. Okay, so here is the link, and you can use this link. Your program manager or volunteer might update it in your Google Classroom, so just check to make sure that this is the link that they are using too. But you will go here to log into HackerRank. And when you do that, it will look like this. All right, so you're going to read the instructions and then click continue 3 times. So you can click, here, let me move this. You can click the GitHub username and password option here. Okay, so click on that. You'll be able to use the GitHub username and password that you created. Again, if you don't have a GitHub, you can look at one of the previous lessons where we created GitHub user accounts together. But if you don't, you can also use your email to sign in. All right, so now you're logged in. You're going to confirm that your email address is correct. For program name, enter the program name, okay? So this is going to be here, right here. This is going to be likely the name of your school, and then if you are in a certain section, you're going to add that in. So the name of your school goes here, and if you have a section, you're going to name it here. It also might be the name of your Google Classroom. Okay, so if you're unsure, you can ask your program manager what your program name is. And then finally, you're going to start the test, and it's going to start a timer. Okay, so you're going to click right here, and it will start a timer. Okay. Oh, I don't know why it looks like this now. So navigating the challenge. So when you click continue, you are going to get to all of the questions here. It's going to have a timer in the top left corner, and you'll be able to go through all of the questions and answer them by coding through HackerRank. So here's an example. There are some multiple choice questions. So like this one, which part of an HTML page does the div tag belong? And then it'll give you some options. So pick one of the choices. Inside the head, inside the body, not inside the head nor the body, in either the head or the body, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to select one of these, okay? You won't have a pen, you'll just click on it. And then what you'll do is click submit, and then you'll be able to move on. There are also HTML and CSS coding questions. So what's going to show up, it's going to look just like pop code. And you'll see the HTML here, okay? And then if you look, so here's the HTML here. And then here you'll see there's an option for CSS. And then here there's an option for JavaScript. Okay, and then the other thing to note is that there is a button that says render. Okay, so this is going to run your code, and then you'll be able to check if you have the expected output. Okay, so you'll see what your code is actually doing when you click on render right there. Okay, so if you get stuck on a problem, and then more than, hold on a second, more than 3 minutes, you should skip it and come back. So think about it, you're taking any kind of test. Be careful. Sometimes a typo is the only thing in between you and the correct answer. So you've been through this before in coding. You have to pay really close attention to the syntax you use to make sure that there are no typos, and then check to see if your code is running correctly. Answer the multiple choice questions first. They should be the fastest for you, so that's what you should do first. And then you can use your resources. So you can use Google to search for answers. You can also use your Codenation reference guide for tips, and to think back on anything from HTML to CSS to JavaScript. All right, check that out. You are not going to have any help from your peers or teachers, okay? Because this is a test of what you have mastered this year. Okay, so then let's do question 2 together. Okay, so this is what the practice challenge looks like. If you go to continue, it'll tell you about the questions, the environment setup, all this confirmation. So if you've logged in, it should look like this. And let's go to question 2. All right, so as you can see, it looks very similar to pop code, right? We have our HTML here, we have our CSS if we click in here, and we have our JavaScript. So the question is over here on the left, and it asks us, add a solid black border to the div. Okay, so let's pretend we're doing this together. So what would you tell me to look for? Do we have a div here? Yep, it's here on line 9. So then if we want to add a solid black border, where do we go? If you said the CSS, that is correct. All right, so we're going to start by typing in div as our, there, got our curly brackets. All right, so now what do we want to add? Border, right? Okay, so we add a border. Let's see, what's the first thing we need? For what? And look, it gives us some options. So let's say we have 4 pixels, and then what do we do? What kind of line do we want? We see it says solid, so we're going to write in solid here. And then finally, we need to add a color. And what was the color? Black. Correct. All right, so then what we're going to do And I'm going to go over here. Again, remember how I talked about we render? So here I am selecting render. Well, first render view, and then render. And I see a black line, but I'm not sure if it's a border or a line. So what I'm going to do here is actually I'm going to add in a little text just to check render. And as you can see, now we have a solid black border around this div. So then what we would do is submit the answer to continue on with the challenge. Our goal for today was to navigate HackerRank and review key HTML and CSS concepts. Just ask yourself, do you feel ready for the challenge of next session? Hopefully, you did a really great job today. And before you go, we have one exit ticket for you. So you can tell us more about how you're feeling for the next challenge. So in Google Classroom, you're going to go here and add in your answer, A, B, C, or D. And we have 4 options. So how ready are you for the challenge next section? A is going to be a piece of cake. B, with a little more preparation, I think we'll be fine. C, I'm completely lost and I need more time to review. Or D, I feel confident in my skills, but I'm worried about using HackerRank. Okay, so based on what you put here, your program manager will reach out to you about next steps. So make sure you're honest and we can help you get prepared for the challenge. And that's it for today. So I'll see you next time. Good job today.